Everyone, welcome to my video, Lammy, my channel. If you don't know me, this is my commentary drama video with gameplay. Today we'll be talking about IDubbbz and the Creator Clash debacle situation. This is the second time recording this video because the first time I recorded it, for some reason, there was no sound. Hopefully I've fixed the situation and hopefully you guys will be able to hear me now. So let's do take two. Alright, so from what I gather, IDubbbz has lost 20k on his Creator Clash situation. Oh, first let me premise this. I just want to let everyone know that I am in no way, shape, or form saying that I am better than anybody else ever in the history of ever. I am just someone who has a lot of opinions. I would like to create a community where we can have opinions together. If you have opinions about what the topic is going on today, I would suggest that you put them in the comment section below. That way we can discuss it, because if you're like me and you have opinions too, I think it's great to have a place to put them. So that being said, let's go.
To share with you. I really don't want to share it. I feel terrible. This year has been a rough one, but this is the path that I chose, so I think it's best to be transparent. For Creator Clash 2, despite it being a fun event and despite good fights and a lot of creators sacrificing a lot of time, money, and energy, we lost $250,000 on the event. The way that this typically works.
Okay, now my thoughts on the reason as to why they lost that much money, I think it's because of the fact of the way that they handled the whole situation with Froggy Fresh. I think, plus coupled with the fact that I don't think they promoted it much. I didn't even hear anything about it that much at all until the Froggy Fresh drama had even come out. Now, I could be wrong. They could have promoted it, but from what I saw and noticed, it didn't seem like very much promotion was happening at all. Until the whole situation where Froggy Fresh had come out, made a joke about IDubbbz' wife, and then he got super duper offended, and then kicked Froggy Fresh off of the Creator Clash event, and then stated that it wasn't because of the fact that because of the fact that Froggy Fresh had talked about his wife. He was making up all kinds of other excuses as to the reason why he had kicked him off the Creator Clash or whatever, and then came out later on and then had said, yeah, guess what, it was due to the fact that Creator Clash, that Froggy Fresh was talking about my wife. Coupled with the fact that Harley came out and he was just being completely arrogant and talking all kinds of smack about everyone. He did not handle that gracefully at all. If he wanted to even stand up for IDubbbz, he could have done so with a lot more grace than he did. He just came off as a complete arrogant, condescending person, which I think had a great deal of impact as to why everybody was upset with supporting the event.
For anyone who's unaware, is that once our expenses are paid off for the event, like all the minimums of broadcasting, the hotel, travel, all that sort of stuff, once that's all paid off, then we can start paying the charities. Unfortunately, we didn't even reach the break-even point, right? We're $250,000 in the red. I foolishly thought that the success of last year should be a minimum, a minimum for what we are able to do this year. And that wasn't true. There was a lot more.
Well, even the success of last year, they had drama with that too, because of one of his fighters training with Sam Hyde. So, but even then, I think that situation got handled with a lot more grace than the situation that got handled with this one. So it makes sense that a lot less support came with this situation.
More to think about. I thought, okay, we're bringing on more talent, we're bringing on more creators. That should translate to more pay-per-view buys. We're inviting more creator guests. I think that should translate to more pay-per-view buys. This is our second time doing the event, so more people are going to know about it. So I thought that would translate to pay-per-view buys. But we did half as well as we did the first year. 50,000 compared to 100,000 the first year. So I was wrong, and I feel a lot of shame because a lot of people were trusting me and trusting our team to, protect the event and protect the charities and protect just the whole thing.
Well, if that were the case, then he should have been a lot more graceful in handling the drama that was circling Froggy Fresh. Like, maybe he could have ended up saying, okay, we hear you. Yes, I am angry with him for talking and speaking about my wife. I disagree. I don't like how that went down. However, I do hear you all saying that it was a joke, and even though I took it personal or I don't agree with that kind of thing, I do understand that this is for charity and I'm doing it for charity. Like, even when you go to work and you work with people you don't like, it's not, you don't sit there and tell them that they're fired off the job or walk off the job or say, I'm not doing the job. You just kind of, be classy about it and be like, okay, even though we don't jive, we still have to work together. Let's be classy.
It feels particularly bad because this isn't like a regular business where it's all a personal loss and I can just be like, oh, okay, I suck at business, and I walk away from it. All of the other fighters were, hoping that their charities got represented and got supported for all their hard work. But we didn't have any anti-piracy measures. We weren't prepared to deal with what ended up happening. I mean, for me, I was just thinking, like, let's just avoid catastrophe. As long as there's not I don't know, like a bomb threat or like injuries or anything crazy, like, we should be fine. This should just be like the first year. I don't want it to be more complicated than the first year. It ended up being a lot more complicated. Amongst the 800 pirated streaming sites,
Well, I think it became a lot more complicated because you became a lot more um problematic YouTuber, or a lot more problematic figure than you were before. I think you had a lot more people's support until you kind of turned this corner of changing your stances on things, being super overly harsh on yourself about how you were back in the day, things of that nature.
Were between 1.3 and 3 million viewers. So even though there were around 50,000 pay-per-view buys, there were around 1.3 to 3 million viewers, people who actually watched the full broadcast. And that's a little bit reassuring. It makes me feel like, okay, people maybe do want to watch this. They just didn't, they just either couldn't afford it or just didn't want to support what I had going on. If it's 1 or 2 steps to pirate it, but it's 3 or 4 steps to stream it legitimately, people are going to take the pirating option every time. I think we also had a big streamer audience. That's who we are appealing to. I really like the live stream audience. People who want to watch these events live, and they watch things on Twitch and YouTube, and they get it all for free generally. So I think it was, in a lot of ways, bad to appeal to that crowd and not give away the stream for free. I think a lot of them felt like, well, this should be something that's free, especially if you have ads in it. Aside from the pirating, we did have higher expenses this year. It was a bigger arena. We went to the Amalie Arena, so it was twice as big. We paid more for broadcasting. So broadcasting team did a lot more elaborate shit, and there was a lot more staff involved. We did a creative...
See, he's just making excuses, skirting around every single other reason as to why it could have been the case that they weren't getting as much support versus taking accountability of, yeah, I lashed out, and I'm not saying be hurt. Like, yeah, I think it's low that, somebody talks about your family member or something like that. Like, that's not, but people do. Like, it's the internet. You can't censor everybody, and you can't tell, everybody, oh, don't talk about this, don't talk about that. Like, if you put yourself out there, it's going to happen. Is it right? No. But does it happen? Yes. So those are the kind of things that you have to be prepared for. Um, uh, and then if it was just a regular situation where Froggy Fresh was just a part of his boxing event and it was just a regular boxing event, then sure, maybe. But because of the fact that it was with a charity where charity was promised money and things of that nature, I think it kind of brings a different level to it. And I think he should have taken the humility road at that point and just been like, okay. And then after the fact of everything being done and paid the charity and everything like that, then been like, okay, well, Froggy Fresh and I have had a falling out. I'm no longer supporting him. It's really sad, but it is what it is, kind of thing.
The hotel. So we bought out a hotel to make sure all the creators had a safe place that they can stay. It actually ended up being good that we got the creator hotel because all the hotels shot up in price like a couple weeks after we locked in the creator hotel because Taylor Swift was coming to town. She announced her tour dates and pretty much everything got booked up. If we didn't book the creator hotel when we did, I don't think we would have had nearly as many creators show up to show support. And our pay-per-view numbers actually could have been hurt by that. We also had events the day before the fight and the day after the fight so that, fighters and friends and family could come together and process their trauma. That was sort of paramount for me because the first year we did the fight and then I went to bed. I got the shit kicked out of me by Dr. Mike, and then I went to bed, and then I woke up, the hotel was empty, and then I got on a flight and traveled 5 hours with my face completely swollen back to Seattle, and I was like, that was cool. That was so worth it. There was nothing. There was no processing my trauma. There was no talking to anyone and relating about the experience afterward. Everyone was gone. And
Okay, but in all fairness, if he just got the Snapples kicked out of him and everything like that, like, you're not going to be in a mental state to even want to have that discussion, I would feel. So I think it's kind of good that he didn't get to talk to anybody at that point. Like, go home, go heal, then come back and convene and say, okay, and then look at everything objectively. Like, nobody's going to be able to look at anything objectively if they're like healing and just had the Snapples kicked out of them. It just doesn't seem, it doesn't seem like it makes sense. Like, heal first.
that shit felt awful. So
I'm
yeah, some of
sure.
these things that might seem extraneous, in my opinion, were entirely necessary, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I also, I mean, as evidenced by the pay-per-view streams, it wouldn't have made a difference because we did half as many pay-per-view sales. So we also had to pay for more fighters this year. The first year it was 18. This year it was 24. I thought bringing in more fighters would just lead to more pay-per-view buys, but I think it just ended up costing us more. Because each fighter gets a $20,000 stipend. And for anyone like confused about this or thought everyone was fighting for free, they pretty much are fighting for free. I think any of the fighters can attest to the fact that fighting in Creator Clash is not a financial boon in any way. That $20,000 is eaten up in those 9 months that you're training. I would say that $20,000 is on the low end of what it should cost you to train in those 9 months. Because you have to pay for your trainer yourself, and you have to pay for, all of the food, the equipment, the travel, whatever you're doing to make all this shit happen. Aside from putting your streaming career or your YouTube career or TikTok on hold while
See, I don't think you should. I don't think you'd have to put your streaming on hold. Now, I could be wrong, but I would think that it would be a good thing to take people on your journey. Like, what if you streamed yourself training. Like, just make content out of that on top of it. Just be like, here, this is my journey, this is me training, and then just kind of like switch content for the time being so that you could still be putting things out there, but also be training and stuff too. I don't know. That's just my take on it. That's how I look at it. But then again, I've never been in that situation, so that's just my opinion.
Your training, it's not a huge reward. So I don't want anyone to think just because these fighters are getting $20,000 to basically like just be a little bit less in pain after going through all this torment and trauma. I don't want anyone to get shit for that, because that is a minimum of what these fighters should be getting. In my opinion, they should be.
And that's fine. And I think that's great that he wants to pay them at least something, which is awesome. So if you ended up like not getting enough money from the fighting event itself, then put up your own money. If you really feel like the charity should have something, which it should, because you promised that, you promised a charity that you would give them money, then just be like, okay, well, I'm sorry at this point, we didn't meet our goal. Put up something. Just be like, here, have 1,000. I just want to make it right. Instead of saying, oh, well, I'm sorry, the charity gets nothing because we didn't, but you got something in the end. Like, I don't know. Put your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about it. Do you think I'm wrong that the fighters should have gotten something and then the charity just kind of didn't, and that's okay? Or if you feel like, that they should have just put the fighters aside, or not really the fighters aside, because I feel like the fighters should have had something, but just have IDubbbz pay, out of his own pocket, because, it was his event and he should, pay the charity something.
Getting much more, because it is a traumatizing event and it takes a lot of time and dedication. That is a cost of putting on the event, in my opinion. I think other boxing promotions would like disagree that fighters should be getting paid this amount, but to each their own. What do I know? We lost $250,000 on this event. Another thing I want to address is there are some people floating rumors around that we're pocketing money from Creator Clash, and that's extremely hurtful, because it has been nothing but the opposite. I understand that some people out there don't like me. I'm okay with that, but the thing I'm not okay with is just lying to people and making up shit for the sake of like clicks. I mean, this is hard enough as it is. Like, I don't want to make this video telling people that we made half as much or we sold half as many pay-per-views as we did last year. And what I absolutely don't need is people spreading rumors about us pocketing money.
But if they got something for this situation, because he just said that, oh, well, we just, paid out to make sure that everybody had something, or they must have made at least something out of the whole thing. I don't know. What do you think? They might not have made any. They could have been in the hole too. That makes sense too. Yeah, I suppose.
This has been a financial fucking catastrophe for me. We don't need that, and we don't need any of that shit for any of our other fighters, because this has been a huge sacrifice for all of them, financially, specifically financially. If you want to say that they're earning boatloads of clout for fighting, sure, whatever you want to say.
I think they should take that boatloads of clout or whatever clout that they got. I think they should do something for themselves and switch over, maybe go to a different fighting company, maybe talk to Keemstar. Keemstar seems to be pretty good about putting fights together. He seems to be pretty open-minded as to who fights too. So, I mean, and I think even Sam Hyde could probably just, not Sam Hyde, Harley. I think Harley could even backed out and been like, hey, peace, IDubbbz, let me talk to Keemstar and see what I can do, and he might even make out in the end better too. Who knows?
But this has been a huge sacrifice. I try not to view any of the pirated live streams as malicious, because I think the majority of people you know, aren't malicious about it. I think they're worth
But yet you could still use them as an excuse. That's funny.
50,000 people out of a million plus who just said Creator Clash live stream, and like instantly a bunch of shit popped up, and it was just very easy for them to watch. And I really don't blame them for making a choice. All I'm trying to do right now in making this video is to remedy it. That's sort of what I've been grappling with over the past couple of months, is like, what the hell are we gonna do? You know, I can't even think about doing a Creator Clash 3. We lost.
I don't think anybody would show up to a Creator Clash 3. But I do think if you want to make things right, I would, like I said, just take your own money, maybe take 1,000, just donate something. You know, like I don't think anybody, minds if you don't donate like 1,000,000 or something, but just like donate something, donate 1,000, donate something that shows that you do care, that you felt bad that it failed,
Money, and there's no money for charity. So what are we going to do to solve that? I don't I don't have a good solution. The best solution that I've been able to come up with is putting the full Creator Clash broadcast, Creator Clash 2 broadcast, on YouTube for free for everyone to watch, and just hoping and praying that people enjoy it and want to support it. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are, but I want to post the...
I think it's weird that you're relying on views on other people, whether or not the charity gets what they need. Like, it's just a long way to go about it. Like, just put up your own money. That's all you gotta do. Write a check. Boom. One and done. You're good.
Full broadcast on YouTube. And I want to have like a fundraising goal. I know YouTube has like a fundraising thing. But right now, from what I've seen, YouTube doesn't allow multiple charities to be listed in the fundraiser. And there's not really very many good options for us to collect donations ourselves. So I think we're just going to have a singular charity represented in the video, and then we'll put all the other charities in the description. So if you want to donate to a specific charity, that's where you can do it. I want to make it right. I want to make it more right. I'm okay with us fucking up and taking a $250,000 loss. I'm not okay with charities not getting any money. I want to thank all the fighters and all the coaches and all the staff of the event and the fans who, came to show support. It might feel like a big loss, but it was a lot of entertainment, and a lot of good came out of it. A lot of people had unforgettable experiences, and it will be a highlight of their lives. There's a lot of boxing events where no money goes to charity at all, ever. There's not even the chance that it goes to charity. So I just want to thank everyone. It truly made a difference that you came and supported. I'm just disappointed that I let everyone down. I just made some strategically shitty decisions along the way, and all of those decisions, led to where we're at. I think it was dumb of me to say that we weren't going to make the broadcast available for free like we did the previous year. I thought that would bring in more pay-per-view buys, because people would be like, oh, I'm not going to be able to watch it for free? Well, I'll definitely buy so I can tune in. But I don't know. It either didn't have an effect or backfired, and I'm trying to learn from it. This year I have a lot on my plate, and, I think my strategy going forward is to just be, completely candid with everything. Again, it's hard. I would normally keep all of this shit to myself, but I gotta express myself. I gotta tell you guys what's up. Otherwise, I'm gonna rock.
Well, that's good. At least he's being upfront with his feelings, I guess. It does seem like he feels this way. Like, he doesn't seem like he's lying or anything. It seems like to him, he feels like he's doing the right thing. But still, like, but he's going through a whole lot of changes, it seems, too, with being down on himself for the content that he had put before on YouTube before. He seems to be down on himself about the content cop and things of that nature. And it seems like he's just kind of wrestling with himself and his new stance on how he feels about things. And everybody's allowed to change and you know, feel differently about things, and I understand that. The one other thing I want to talk about as well is and this is just for information purposes. I saw today on Twitter about a clip where his wife ended up disrespecting him in a major way, which, I don't know. Let's just talk about it. Okay, I'm going to put the clip in. Okay, here's the clip.
If you can. I just want to ask him if you've always been shitting your pants.
No.
Because since I've known you, you've always had, like, IBS. You've always been shitting yourself.
Yeah, well.
If you can.
I just put that in there because I just found it odd. I don't like seeing that at all. I don't like seeing someone tear their partner down. I don't like seeing anyone. I just think it's incredibly disrespectful. As your partner, you're supposed to do everything to take care of each other and be there for each other. And to have somebody tear somebody down like that is just, I don't know. It just kind of shows a lack of respect, which is really sad to see. I don't know. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining. If you got this far in the video, I really appreciate it. I thank you so much for all of your support. This has been a dream of mine to have this career for a very long time. I'm trying to learn and grow as we go. And thank you for your patience for the second video of having to do for this, because the first one didn't have sound. Hopefully I figured it out this time. And I just really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Bye.